Here with us from Washington is Roger Simon. He's the chief political columnist at Politico. Roger, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
It's interesting, despite the harsh criticism of Donald Trump's comments, some top Republicans say that they are still going to back Trump if he's the nominee. Well, how can they reconcile doing so if they so strongly disagree with his position?
I'm not sure they can. I mean, if you want to be kind, you can say that they're being flexible. If you want to be unkind, you've got to say they're being gutless. These are people who have called his ban on Muslims entering the United States dangerous, unhinged, illegal, ridiculous, yet they say they'll support him for president. That doesn't really make much sense, but that's what they feel they must say if they have any chance in the Republican Party.
Roger, your piece yesterday in Politico was about the power of words, and you referenced specifically FDR's speech to Congress when he was declaring war in the wake of Pearl Harbor, and you talked about Harry Truman's response and his speech when he was considering dropping the atomic bomb on Japan. And I thought, as a student of history, I was reading through it, and I thought of the power of words and what they mean and for the leaders of countries to deliver those words, and I specifically thought of Churchill at the same period talking about, we shall never surrender in June of 1940, and offering nothing but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. Mm-hmm. And also JFK's speech where, he talked about we shall pay any price to ensure the success of liberty. So the words that Donald Trump is using, they do matter, even if he doesn't eventually get the GOP nominee, right?
Oh, absolutely. And they're words that always reference fear and danger and outsiders. They are always warnings about Mexican immigrants, warnings about Muslim terrorists who want to come to the United States and kill people, making fun of the disabled, making fun of POWs, making fun of women. All of that has an impact. Trump is known as the candidate who will say virtually anything. And we got to assume we'll do virtually anything to get to the Oval Office. We were talking a second ago about other candidates, the other Republicans. It occurs to me that if we say Muslims, especially Muslim Americans, have a duty to denounce Muslim extremism, we've got to ask ourselves if Republicans have a duty to denounce Republican extremism. Where are more voices saying that, look, we're not going to discriminate against people entering this country based on their religion. We're not going to have a religious test. At airports, when a person hands over his passport, we're not going to have somebody say, what's your religion? If you're a Muslim, get back on the plane. A few voices have spoken in the Republican Party, but there are a lot of voices that are silent.
Roger, what do you think perhaps the long-term implication might be, if Donald Trump continues to surge, what might that do to the Republican brand?
Well, you got to say, if he continues to surge, so the Republican brand has changed. Although there has been a steady drumbeat for decades now from the far right of the Republican Party that we have reason to fear big government who wants to destroy us, they say. We have a fear of immigrants. We have a fear of poor people who want to spend and waste our tax dollars on them. And we have to arm ourselves against all of these people by having ready access to guns, including assault weapons. So you can say Trump really is just sort of the inevitable result of the Republican Party saying that for years and years and years. And perhaps that is the brand of the Republican Party. Some Republicans are going to say, hey, that's not what we want to be. We're not going to go there. We're going to resist Trump. we're going to say, like Paul Ryan, the Secretary of, the Speaker of the House, said yesterday, this is not conservatism. What Trump is selling you is not conservatism. We are better than that. So we're going to have these two factions, a Trump faction and an anybody but Trump faction. And it may be a very exciting Republican convention.
Roger, before we let you go, you talked about the need for members of the GOP to come out and call what Mr. Trump is saying for what it is. You've had Lindsey Graham doing that. He's probably delivered some of the harshest criticism of Donald Trump. But the guy who is just trailing Mr. Trump, Ted Cruz, has refused to criticize him. What's behind that strategy?
You're absolutely right. Ted Cruz wants to offer himself to the Republican Party as Donald Trump without the crazy. He is a far-right candidate. We all know that. And he's proud of it. He's proud to be a strong conservative. But he wants to say, look, I'm not bringing all the bad publicity. I'm not bringing all the attacks. I'm just bringing policies. And if you want a serious policy guy that hasn't attacked his fellow Republicans, who is saving his energy to attack Hillary Clinton, then I'm your alternative to Donald Trump. And that's what he sees as his lane to the nomination.
Roger Simon at Politico. Thank you so much, Roger. We appreciate it.
Thank you.